Because he was considered an outsider, they were shunned by the Etruscan elite, so he sought a new beginning in Rome. He changed his name to Lucius Tarquin, after the Etruscan city that he came from. He would do well in Rome, and would be known as a generous man who helped those in need and rendered assistance to anyone who asked for it. The king became such great friends with Tarquin that he made him guardian over his 2 sons. When Ancus died, Tarquin suggested the king's sons go on a hunting trip for a few days while he took care of things, and he did. With the sons gone, Tarquin immediately proposed himself as election for king of Rome. He had a reputation for generosity and fair dealing. The sons would feel betrayed and disrespected upon seeing Tarquin's election as king of Rome and would leave the city. They would quietly watch and despise Tarquin's long and prosperous reign. During his 38th year, they hired 2 assassins to pretend to have a legal dispute for the king to hear, while one started to explain an elaborate and enthralling story. The other walked behind Tarquin and struck him with an axe, instantly killing him. The sons of Ancus had hoped to wage war on Rome following the chaos of the king's death, but Tarquin's wife came out and assured everyone it was merely a flesh wound and the king would recover shortly. The queen's son-in-law, Servius Tullus, was made king of Rome in secret, and by the time everyone realized that he had been king, it had already been some time and people had become accustomed to his rule and no chaos ensued. The origins of Servius Tullus are obscured, but some believe him to either be an Etruscan or a freed slave, or both. During his reign, he would carry out the first census in world history, where every man, woman, and child would be tabulated into clearly defined categories, each clearly delineated into their respective obligations to the Roman state. His daughter would marry the grandson of the murdered king Tarquin, also named Tarquin. The two plotted a coup d'etat. He dressed in royal regalia and threw the aging king out of the Senate building. While returning home, he was murdered by assassins, and legend has it that his daughter's carriage trampled over her father's body while leaving the Senate house. Tarquin the Proud, as he would be known, was an authoritarian ruler. He would purge the Roman aristocracy of potential enemies, and he would also make Rome the head of the Latin League of Tribes, and defeated many of her local enemies. Those not engaged in warfare would be put to work, building a massive temple of Jupiter, which would be the center of Roman religion over the next 1,000 years, and the city's great sewers, which allowed the city to grow ever larger. His downfall would be caused by his son Sextus, who was obsessed with the beautiful Lucretia. After refusing his advances, he forced himself on her. Lucretia would publicly denounce the Tarquins for the assault and demand vengeance, while the crowd was determining whether they should act or not. Lucretia took a knife she had concealed on herself and stabbed herself in the chest. One bystander, named Brutus, would whip the crowd into such fervor and fury that they ran the Tarquins out of the city. The Romans vowed never to have a king again, and created the world's first republic. But Tarquin was not done yet. Leading a massive army comprised of a coalition of Etruscan kings, he attempted to take Rome back. The bloody campaign saw his son and Brutus die. However, the Republic survived. He tried one last time to take Rome, this time turning the members of the Latin League against Rome, yet he failed again. So ended the Roman Age of Kings. It lasted for 244 years, and had seen Rome rise from a quasi-bandit encampment to the world's first republic, standing amongst the foremost powers of Italy. Those Gauls I mentioned earlier, they would sack Rome in 390 BC, burning its histories of this period. Thus, the Age of Kings is a mixture of oral tradition, confused folk memories, myths, and some outright lies cobbled together by later Republican Romans. Don't forget to smash the like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell icon to get notifications every time I make a new video. That really motivates me to keep making new content. And if you want to be like Jody, Ballas, Alberto, Morpheus, Greiger, Yenyo, and Artem, head over to Patreon and help support this channel. Starting at just $1 a month, or for $3, you can get your name in every episode. Thank you guys are awesome for me to the end of the video.